Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you all of the books that I read in December 2023. So these are the last books that I read before the new year, and I am pretty happy with my reading month because previously, working retail in December, I feel like every other year I've read like 1, maybe 2 books. And this year I read 6, which I think is a perfectly reasonable good amount, which I'm really happy with. So first up, I read Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. This is the 5th installment in the graphic novel series. I love this series so much. I've been reading it since it first came out way back when, and I just love Nick and Charlie so much. I love this art style. We got to see a little bit more about sort of Nick's journey to college, or like choosing a college in this one, and it was just really nice, and I loved them. I love this entire series. I rated this one 4 stars, I think, just because like it wasn't my favorite, but like I still loved it so much. And thankfully this isn't the last installment. I just love Nick and Charlie so much. I love the TV show. I love everything about this story, so I'm really glad that I got to read the latest one and that it was finally out. Then after that, I read Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang. Now, oh my god, this was so good and infuriating in equal measures. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't quite a perfect 5 stars, but I did really like it. I listened to the audiobook for this one, and can I just say the audiobook as well is fantastic. The narrator is so good and she's so expressive, and she just really brings this awful character to life, and she does such a good job. So I highly recommend the audiobook for this one as well if you want to read it. But this one is about a white author named June, whose author friend, who is Southeast Asian, she ends up dying in a freak accident, and then June ends up stealing her manuscript and taking credit for it, gets it published, and it sort of follows her journey throughout the publishing world while trying to keep this a big secret. And it really delves into like racism in the publishing industry, white privilege, just like the intricacies of like what can happen with like between authors and publishers as well. And it is a satire. However, I feel like I've seen a lot of the things that happen in this book happen in actual author Twitter, like in real life. And so is this really satire? I don't think so. It's maybe a little bit of satire, but like I have definitely seen a lot of Junes all over the place, and a lot of the interactions that happen in this book happen in real life as well. And it was just like, it was just a really interesting look at it, and it was really well done. I don't want to say it's a thriller, but it is a thrilling read, and it is so fast-paced and so well done, and I loved it. I love the writing. I love Rebecca Kuang's writing in general. Anyway, everything I've read of hers I really enjoyed so far. Then after that, your girl got a Kindle for Christmas, and I'm so happy finally to have something that I can like easily read in bed, or just easily read in general. I have a Kindle, and it's beautiful, and it's easy to hold, and it has a backlight, and I can read at nighttime like with the lights off. Oh my god, I'm so happy with this. So the first couple of books that I read on Kindle Unlimited were Addicted to You and Ricochet by Becca and Krista Ritchie. These are the first 2 books in the Addicted series. This is a massive series. Between the Addicted series and the Calloway Sisters series, pretty sure this is like 10 books all up, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to get into it, but like I am pretty invested in the characters. And so this first trilogy follows Lily and Lo, who are addicts, and Lo is an alcoholic and Lily is a sex addict. And so they have been friends forever. They're also really rich as well and come from really rich families, and they have basically like figured out a deal, like a fake dating deal, in order to enable each other's addictions. It's obviously very toxic, especially in the first book where they're just enabling each other the entire time. I did enjoy it. Like, I thought it was pretty well done overall. It wasn't like the best. It was kind of like, it was kind of cheesy in a lot of respects. And I do find Lily and Lo at this stage, this might be a really unpopular opinion, but I do find them kind of insufferable at the moment, but I am starting to warm up to them more. I also wasn't sure how I felt about the side characters in here at first, but I am really starting to warm up to them as well. Like Rose, I did not understand anything at all, but now I feel like she might become one of my favorite characters in the series, but like we'll see how I go. I rated each of these 3 stars, so like they're fine, but I have a feeling the rest of the series is where it starts to really pick up and where people start to get obsessed, because despite these being 3-star reads and me not even liking Lily and Lo that much, I still feel myself kind of compelled to see where their story ends up and to see what happens to these characters. Like, I am pretty invested in where they're going at this stage. I think I'll probably end up liking them towards the end, but in the first book especially, like I sympathized with them, of course, but like I didn't like them. And I thought they were kind of like not the greatest characters to read about, but I am invested in this series now. And they were the first 2 books that I read on my Kindle, and I'm currently reading the 3rd one, so you can tell that I am actually invested in the series. And then I ended up reading Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This is the first book in the Lakefront Billionaires series. This one follows Julian and Dahlia, who are both sort of in the housing market, if you will. So Julian became rich from like investing in property, and Dahlia is a TV interior designer and made her money through that way. And like, it was good. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it to be. It was still a 4-star read. Like, it was still solid, and I did really enjoy the relationship and like the tenderness between the 2 main characters and the main couple. But I don't know, there was just something about it. Maybe it's just the fact that like Julian like invests in property for a living, and we're currently in a rental crisis in Australia. Like, I don't know whether that was like at the back of my mind the entire time, because I had similar issues with the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Like, I loved that series so much, but especially in the first book, I just could not get past the fact that like the guy, Rowan, like he just wasn't like paying his employees like a livable wage. Like, it's just like things like that that like really put me off of characters in general. And I guess like that's to be expected with billionaire characters, but I think that was probably like in the back of my mind, was like, this man is just like knocking down houses and making money off of it, and like half of my city is like struggling to find a place to rent. So like, you know, but it was still a good read. It was well written, and I am looking forward to the rest of the series. And then I don't actually own the book yet, because this was the last book of the year for me, and it actually comes out in February this year. I think it's February 6th, and that is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. I wish I filmed my favorite books of 2023 after I read this book, because this would have made the top 5 easily. This was 5 out of 5 stars. One of the best romances I think I've ever read. I loved this so much, and I can't believe I've never read anything by Tia Williams before. I think I'm definitely going to like look into her backlog, and I've seen a lot of hype for 7 Days in June, but I didn't pick it up, but I'm definitely going to now, because like the writing was exquisite, the characters were amazing. Oh my god, it was just gorgeous, and I'm so sad that I can't include it in my best books video. Basically, it is about Ricky Wilde, who moves to Harlem. She moves there to get away from her rich yet really overbearing and kind of like shitty parents and family, and she wants to make her own way in life instead of doing the family business thing. And so she ends up opening up her own flower shop, and she, you know, does her socials, and it's a struggle, but it ends up taking off eventually. Then she ends up meeting a man named Ezra, and there is something different about Ezra. I won't say too much, but I will say that it's very magical. It feels like a fairy tale at times. It is largely exploring and sort of like a love letter to the Harlem Renaissance, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so good. You should definitely check out this book when it comes out in February, because like I cannot get over how amazing it was. The side characters are amazing as well. There is Miss Della, who is the landlady, and she's sort of like the reason why she moved to Harlem in the first place, to open up her flower shop. Like, we get to know more about her, and they sort of end up getting a found family in each other. It's sort of like magical realism, but set in a modern day setting, and it's just like, it's black love, and it's like fairy tale-esque, and it's just beautiful. I honestly like want to kind of put it in my top 10 of this year already, just because I didn't get to talk about it in my top 10 for last year, but it really was amazing, and I cannot wait to get a physical copy because I thought it was incredible. Anyway, highly recommend. So they are all of the books that I read in December and how I wrapped up my reading year. I had such a good reading year overall. Like, I'm so happy with what I read, how many 4 and 5 star reads I had, especially how I ended off the year with a love song for Ricky Wilde. Like, incredible, amazing. I will be thinking about that book all the time. I'm obsessed with it, and I just had such a good reading year in general, and I'm really glad that I got to read more in December this year from finally not working in retail and being exhausted. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time for a new video. Bye.